Every journey toward a new chapter in life begins with a simple yet profound act, facing your past with honesty and courage. So often, people try to rush forward, eager to escape the shadows of yesterday, thinking that if they just move fast enough, the pain and mistakes will fade away on their own. But the truth is, you cannot truly step into a brighter, more fulfilling future while carrying unexamined experiences from your past. Each unresolved memory, each unprocessed emotion, every regret and disappointment acts like a weight in your mind and heart, subtly dictating your choices, limiting your potential, and shaping your relationships in ways you may not even notice. Acknowledging your past is not about dwelling on mistakes or reliving pain. It is about recognizing the truth of your experiences, giving yourself permission to see them clearly, and understanding how they have influenced the person you are today. When you take the time to reflect honestly, you start to recognize patterns, moments of growth, and areas where you allowed fear, doubt, or insecurity to control your decisions. Awareness is the first step in reclaiming your power because you cannot change what you refuse to face. Many people avoid their past because they believe it is too painful, too shameful, or too overwhelming to confront. They tell themselves that forgetting is healing, that burying memories under busyness, distraction, or even self-destructive habits is the way forward. But this is a myth. True healing begins when you stop running and start looking inward. You examine the events, the relationships, the choices, and the circumstances that have left scars, and you give yourself the grace to acknowledge them without judgment. You may notice times when you acted out of fear instead of faith, when you doubted your abilities, or when you allowed external opinions to dictate your self-worth. These realizations can be uncomfortable, even painful, but they are essential. Pain, after all, is not a signal to stop. It is a signal to pay attention, to learn, and to grow. By facing your past, you gain clarity about the experiences that no longer serve you, the stories you have been telling yourself that keep you stuck, and the limiting beliefs that have formed over time. Acknowledging does not mean blaming yourself or others. It means owning your narrative, recognizing your part in the story, and understanding that everything you have been through has contributed to your growth in some way. This process allows you to see patterns in your behavior, recurring situations, or toxic dynamics that you may have unconsciously accepted as normal. It opens your eyes to lessons embedded in the challenges you faced, and you start to realize that even painful experiences were not meaningless. They were shaping you, preparing you, and equipping you with tools that will serve you in the next phase of life. When you take the time to honor your past in this way, you also cultivate compassion for yourself, for others, and for life itself. You begin to understand why certain things happened, why people acted as they did, and why circumstances unfolded in ways that once seemed unfair or unjust. With this understanding, the energy that was once consumed by resentment, confusion, or regret can be redirected toward growth, creation, and self-improvement. Acknowledging the past is not a one-time act. It is a continuous practice. It requires patience, introspection, and a willingness to be vulnerable with yourself. You may need to journal your thoughts, meditate on your experiences, speak openly with trusted confidants, or simply spend time in quiet reflection. Each act of recognition strengthens your awareness and slowly dissolves the emotional weight that has been holding you back. Over time, what once felt like a burden begins to feel like a foundation, a solid base from which you can build your next chapter with intentionality and purpose. As you confront your past, you also discover a deeper sense of identity. You realize that you are not defined by mistakes, failures, or setbacks, but by your capacity to rise, learn, and evolve. Every difficult experience becomes a teacher, every loss a lesson, every challenge an opportunity to expand your understanding of yourself and the world. And as you continue this practice, you start to notice subtle shifts in the way you think, feel, and act. Your reactions become less impulsive and more conscious. Your decisions are guided by clarity rather than unresolved emotions. And your relationships improve as you bring a more authentic, healed version of yourself into every interaction. Acknowledging your past also allows you to reclaim power that you may have unknowingly surrendered to old narratives. You recognize that no one else can dictate your worth or your trajectory. It is yours to shape. You begin to forgive, not because others deserve it, but because you deserve freedom from the invisible chains that have kept you tethered to past pain. This act of acknowledgement becomes a bridge between what was and what can be, connecting lessons learned with aspirations yet to be realized, and it prepares you for a future where decisions are made from alignment rather than avoidance, from confidence rather than fear, and from clarity rather than confusion. Carrying unresolved emotions from the past is like holding on to heavy stones in your hands while trying to run toward the life you want. Every resentment, every regret, every moment of anger or disappointment you clutch tightly drains your energy, clouds your judgment, and keeps you from fully embracing the opportunities ahead. Releasing emotional baggage is not a simple act of forgetting or pretending that pain never existed. It is a deliberate, conscious choice to let go of the weight that is no longer serving you. Too often, people allow their past hurts to dictate their present, shaping their thoughts, reactions, and relationships in ways that keep them stuck in cycles of fear, mistrust, and self-doubt. They replay old conversations, relive mistakes, and carry grudges like trophies, convincing themselves that holding on protects them, but in reality, it only limits them. To release emotional baggage, you must first recognize what you are holding on to. You must identify the feelings, events, and beliefs that continue to influence your life without your conscious permission. These can be moments of betrayal, times when you felt misunderstood or abandoned, experiences that left you questioning your worth, or regrets about decisions you wish you had made differently. Acknowledging these emotions is the first step in freeing yourself, because unacknowledged feelings have a way of hiding in the subconscious, subtly steering your choices and shaping your behavior without you even realizing it. The process of releasing begins with self-compassion. You must understand that it is human to feel pain, to make mistakes, and to experience loss. When you forgive yourself for perceived failures, you weaken the hold that guilt and shame have over you. Forgiveness is not about condoning the actions of others or excusing harmful behavior. It is about liberating your own mind and heart from the prison of resentment. Every moment you carry anger towards someone else or bitterness about a situation is a moment that could be spent creating, growing, and becoming a stronger version of yourself. By consciously choosing to let go, you reclaim the energy that was once tied up in negative emotions, and you open the door for peace, clarity, and focus. Releasing emotional baggage also requires confronting fear. Fear of being hurt again, fear of vulnerability, and fear of change often keep people chained to past experiences. But holding on to fear does not protect you. It prevents you from stepping into the life you are meant to live. When you face fear with courage, when you allow yourself to feel the pain and then release it, you create space for confidence, resilience, and joy to enter. Visualization and mindfulness can be powerful tools in this process. Imagine yourself letting go of anger like a balloon drifting into the sky, or picture regret dissolving like mist in the morning sun. Mindfulness allows you to observe your emotions without judgment, to notice them, and then to gently release them rather than letting them control your reactions. Emotional baggage often manifests in relationships, whether through overreacting to minor slights, projecting old hurts onto new people, or building walls that prevent genuine connection. By releasing what no longer serves you, you improve not only your relationship with yourself, but also the quality of your interactions with others. You begin to approach people with openness, patience, and authenticity, free from the shadows of past disappointments. It is important to remember that release is a process, not a one-time event. There will be moments when old emotions resurface, moments when it feels easier to cling to pain than to let it go. In those moments, remind yourself that healing is a choice you make repeatedly, and every act of letting go strengthens your resilience and capacity for love, growth, and success. Journaling, meditation, therapy, and honest conversations with trusted individuals can all support this journey, providing insight, perspective, and emotional release. As you practice releasing emotional baggage, you will notice a shift in your energy, your mindset, and your approach to life. You will make decisions from a place of clarity rather than reaction. You will attract situations and people aligned with your true self, and you will carry a lightness of being that was previously unavailable while weighed down by unprocessed feelings. Emotional release is not about ignoring your past or pretending pain did not exist. It is about honoring your experiences, learning the lessons they offer, and then choosing to step forward unburdened, carrying only the wisdom and strength that serve your next chapter. Every emotion you release is a step toward freedom. Every moment you let go of resentment is a moment of empowerment, and every act of forgiveness toward yourself and others expands the space within you for joy, abundance, and purpose. The more you release, the more room you create for new opportunities, new relationships, and new experiences, because an unencumbered mind and heart are fertile ground for growth, innovation, and transformation. Rebuilding your self-worth is one of the most powerful acts you can undertake as you prepare to step into a new chapter of your life. Often the wounds we carry from the past chip away at our sense of value and leave us questioning whether we are deserving of love, success, happiness, or opportunity. Every experience of rejection, failure, criticism, or disappointment can quietly erode the confidence we were born with, and over time, we may begin to believe that we are defined by our mistakes or by the opinions of others. The first step in reclaiming self-worth is understanding that your value is inherent. It is not determined by external validation, material achievements, or the approval of those around you. You are valuable simply because you exist, simply because you have survived every challenge and every trial that life has thrown at you up to this point. Rebuilding self-worth begins with cultivating awareness of the negative self-talk and limiting beliefs that have taken root over time. Many people are unaware of how harshly they speak to themselves, repeating narratives of inadequacy, unworthiness, or failure that echo the judgments they may have internalized from others. These narratives create invisible barriers, shaping the choices we make, the risks we take, and the opportunities we believe are within our reach. By recognizing these internal dialogues and challenging them, you begin to dismantle the false stories you have been telling yourself. Affirmations, reflection, and conscious self-talk are tools that help replace doubt with confidence, fear with courage, and self-criticism with compassion. Rebuilding self-worth also involves acknowledging your accomplishments, no matter how small they may seem. Too often, people focus solely on what they have not achieved or where they fell short, ignoring the countless victories, efforts, and acts of resilience that prove their strength and capability. Every time you face a challenge, every time you take a step forward despite fear or uncertainty, you are demonstrating the very qualities that make you valuable and deserving of a fulfilling life. Another essential part of this process is setting boundaries. When you respect yourself and communicate your needs clearly, you send a powerful message to yourself and the world that you are worthy of respect, kindness, and consideration. Boundaries protect your energy, your time, and your emotional health, allowing you to focus on personal growth rather than constantly accommodating the demands or expectations of others. Rebuilding self-worth also requires you to forgive yourself for past mistakes and to recognize that errors are part of being human, not evidence of inadequacy. Every misstep offers a lesson, and every failure is an opportunity to grow, adapt, and strengthen your character. By reframing your perspective, you shift from seeing your past as a series of shortcomings to viewing it as a foundation of experience that supports your growth and resilience. Surrounding yourself with people who uplift, support, and encourage you is another vital element in rebuilding self-worth. The energy you absorb from others can either reinforce limiting beliefs or affirm your value and potential. Seek relationships and environments that nurture your confidence, celebrate your strengths, and challenge you to become the best version of yourself. As your self-worth strengthens, you naturally begin to pursue goals and opportunities that align with your authentic self, rather than settling for less out of fear or self-doubt. You recognize that you deserve success, happiness, and meaningful connections, and this awareness transforms the way you approach life, decisions, and relationships. Rebuilding self-worth is also about embracing your uniqueness. Comparison to others erodes confidence and fosters feelings of inadequacy, but when you honor your own path, your strengths, and your individuality, you cultivate a deep sense of pride and authenticity. You understand that your journey is your own and that your value cannot be measured against someone else's achievements or experiences. In this process, self-care becomes a crucial practice. Caring for your body, mind, and spirit reinforces the message that you are worthy of attention, love, and effort. Whether through healthy habits, pursuing passions, or creating time for rest and reflection, self-care nurtures your sense of value and strengthens your foundation for growth. Rebuilding self-worth is a journey that requires patience, persistence, and compassion because the wounds of the past cannot be erased overnight. Each conscious effort to honor yourself, challenge limiting beliefs, and celebrate your achievements compounds over time, creating a ripple effect that touches every area of your life. As your sense of self-worth grows, you begin to make choices from a place of empowerment rather than fear. You attract opportunities and relationships that reflect your value, and you step into your next chapter with a newfound sense of confidence, clarity, and purpose. The more you invest in recognizing, embracing, and strengthening your inherent worth, the more fully you can live, love, and achieve without hesitation or compromise, and the stronger the foundation becomes for the person you are destined to become in the next phase of your life. Breaking limiting patterns is one of the most critical steps in preparing to enter a new chapter of your life because the behaviors, habits, and thought processes that have served you in the past may no longer be aligned with the person you are becoming. Many people move through life unconsciously, repeating cycles of self-sabotage, fear, and negative thinking, without realizing that these patterns were formed long ago, often as a response to past experiences, trauma, or conditioning. These patterns can be subtle, hidden beneath the surface of daily routines, yet they exert a profound influence on the choices you make, the opportunities you pursue, and the relationships you cultivate. Breaking these patterns begins with awareness. You must take an honest look at your life and recognize where you are stuck, where old habits are holding you back, and where your mind automatically gravitates toward fear, doubt, or limitation. Awareness requires courage because it often means confronting uncomfortable truths about yourself and your behaviors, recognizing the ways in which you may have allowed past experiences to dictate your present, and admitting that some of the coping mechanisms you relied upon no longer serve your growth. Once you identify these patterns, the next step is to understand the root causes. Limiting patterns rarely exist without reason. They are often learned behaviors, survival strategies, or deeply ingrained beliefs that once protected you but now constrain you. By tracing patterns back to their origin, you gain clarity and insight into why they exist, and you empower yourself to consciously decide whether they deserve a place in your future. Changing behavior requires consistent effort and intentional action. It is not enough to simply recognize a limiting pattern. You must actively disrupt it and replace it with new, constructive habits that support your growth, self-worth, and vision for the future. This can involve altering daily routines, changing your environment, or introducing new practices that reinforce empowerment, positivity, and resilience. Breaking patterns also requires challenging the beliefs that underpin them. Limiting beliefs are powerful because they shape perception and influence decision-making without conscious thought. When you hear the inner voice that says, "I am not good enough, I cannot succeed," or "this always happens to me," it is the echo of an old pattern attempting to maintain control. Consciously questioning and reframing these beliefs transforms the narrative from limitation to possibility, from fear to courage, and from doubt to confidence. Accountability is another essential component in breaking limiting patterns. Share your journey with trusted mentors, friends, or coaches who can provide perspective, guidance, and encouragement. External accountability reinforces internal commitment, and the support of others can help you notice when you are slipping back into old behaviors, allowing you to course correct before patterns solidify again. Patience and persistence are vital because breaking patterns is rarely a linear process. There will be moments of resistance, moments when old habits resurface, and moments of self-doubt. These moments are not failures, they are part of the growth process. Recognizing that transformation takes time allows you to approach change with compassion for yourself rather than frustration or criticism. Visualization and mental rehearsal can also accelerate the process of breaking patterns. By imagining yourself behaving differently, making empowered choices, and reacting with confidence in situations where you would normally default to fear or limitation, you begin to train your mind and body to respond in alignment with the person you are becoming. Over time, repeated practice rewires your neural pathways, making new behaviors instinctive and reducing the power of old, limiting patterns. Emotional resilience plays a crucial role as well. Breaking patterns often requires confronting fear, discomfort, and uncertainty, and the ability to tolerate these emotions without reverting to old behaviors is a sign of strength and growth. Cultivating resilience through mindfulness, meditation, reflection, and healthy coping mechanisms ensures that you remain steadfast in the face of challenges and setbacks. Breaking limiting patterns is also about embracing responsibility for your own life and choices. While external circumstances and other people may have influenced your past, you have the power now to choose differently, to act with intention, and to shape the future you desire. Each decision to break a pattern strengthens your autonomy and empowers you to step fully into your next chapter with confidence and clarity. The beauty of this process is that as you dismantle limiting patterns, you open space for new opportunities, relationships, and experiences that align with your authentic self. You no longer unconsciously repeat cycles that keep you small. Instead, you create habits, thoughts, and behaviors that elevate, empower, and expand your life. It is in this intentional breaking of old patterns that transformation occurs. And it is here, in the conscious choice to change, that you begin to experience the freedom, clarity, and empowerment that allow you to move forward with purpose, courage, and a renewed sense of self, fully prepared to embrace the possibilities of the next chapter in your life. Creating mental and emotional clarity is one of the most transformative steps you can take as you prepare to enter the next chapter of your life, because without clarity, even the best intentions and plans can become muddled by confusion, doubt, and indecision. Many people move forward carrying a fog of unprocessed emotions, conflicting thoughts, and unresolved tension that prevents them from seeing the path ahead clearly. The mind, when clouded by chaos and clutter, cannot focus on the opportunities in front of you. And the heart, weighed down by lingering emotions, cannot fully embrace the experiences and relationships that await. Clarity begins with awareness and self-reflection, taking the time to observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment. It requires the willingness to confront mental noise, emotional turmoil, and inner conflicts that may have been ignored or suppressed for years. By examining your internal landscape honestly, you begin to identify the sources of confusion, old regrets, lingering doubts, fear of failure, unmet expectations, and unresolved pain from past experiences. Once you bring these elements into conscious awareness, you have the power to address them rather than letting them unconsciously steer your actions and decisions. Mental and emotional clarity is closely tied to emotional processing. It is not enough to merely acknowledge feelings. You must allow yourself to experience them fully, understand their origin, and release what no longer serves you. Emotions such as anger, grief, guilt, and fear, when left unresolved, create mental clutter that distorts perception and prevents objective decision-making. By facing these emotions head-on and giving them proper attention, you create space for calm, focus, and insight to emerge. Journaling, meditation, and mindfulness are powerful tools to achieve this clarity. Writing down your thoughts allows you to externalize the internal chatter, organize your ideas, and identify recurring patterns that may be holding you back. Meditation and mindfulness, on the other hand, cultivate the ability to observe your thoughts and feelings without being consumed by them, fostering a sense of calm and detachment that supports clearer thinking. Another critical aspect of clarity is prioritization. When the mind is cluttered with too many concerns, tasks, and responsibilities, it becomes difficult to focus on what truly matters. By identifying your values, goals, and the areas of life that are most important to you, you can direct your energy intentionally, making decisions with purpose rather than reacting impulsively to external pressures or internal confusion. Letting go of what no longer serves you, whether it be toxic relationships, unproductive habits, or limiting beliefs, is also essential for clarity. Emotional clutter and mental baggage can cloud judgment and drain energy, preventing you from moving forward with confidence. Releasing these burdens allows you to operate from a place of strength, insight, and alignment with your true self. Clarity also requires cultivating a sense of emotional regulation. When the mind and heart are overwhelmed by extreme emotions, rational thinking and wise decision-making become difficult. By practicing techniques that calm the nervous system, such as deep breathing, visualization, or grounding exercises, you gain the ability to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, allowing clarity to guide your actions. Another important factor is the creation of a mental environment that supports clarity. Surround yourself with positive influences, seek knowledge that expands your understanding, and engage in conversations that challenge and elevate your perspective. Avoiding negativity, distractions, and unnecessary drama preserves mental space, allowing you to focus on what truly contributes to your growth and well-being. Mental and emotional clarity is not a one-time achievement, but a continuous practice. Life will present challenges, uncertainties, and shifts that can temporarily cloud your vision, but the habits of reflection, mindfulness, and intentional focus allow you to regain clarity whenever needed. It also requires honesty with yourself, acknowledging your desires, motivations, strengths, and weaknesses without judgment or denial. In this state, you begin to recognize the difference between what is truly aligned with your purpose and what is merely a reaction to external pressures or past conditioning. As clarity deepens, decisions become easier, actions become more deliberate, and the energy that was once scattered is now focused on creating and attracting what aligns with your vision. Relationships, career choices, and personal goals all benefit from this mental and emotional precision because you operate from a place of understanding and intentionality rather than confusion and emotional reactivity. Clarity allows you to see opportunities where others see obstacles, to embrace challenges as growth rather than threats, and to step forward with confidence and certainty, knowing that your decisions are rooted in insight, alignment, and a deep understanding of your own values, desires, and potential. It transforms the way you approach life, giving you the ability to act decisively, respond with wisdom, and pursue your next chapter with a sense of focus, purpose, and inner peace that would otherwise be impossible when the mind and heart are clouded, distracted, or burdened by unresolved emotion and uncertainty. Stepping into empowered action is the culmination of all the inner work you have done. The awareness of your past, the release of emotional baggage, the rebuilding of your self-worth, the breaking of limiting patterns, and the creation of mental and emotional clarity. It is the point at which reflection transforms into movement, intention transforms into behavior, and potential transforms into tangible results. Many people know what they want, have clarity about their goals, and understand the changes they need to make, yet they remain stuck because they fail to act. Empowered action is not simply doing for the sake of doing. It is acting from a place of awareness, confidence, and alignment with your authentic self, choosing behaviors and decisions that move you closer to the life you envision. True empowerment comes from understanding that your actions are a reflection of your inner state. If you act from fear, doubt, or uncertainty, your results will mirror those emotions. If you act from clarity, confidence, and self-belief, your actions carry power and purpose that inevitably create momentum and opportunity. Taking empowered action requires courage because stepping into new territory, making changes, and pursuing your dreams often involves risk, discomfort, and the unknown. Courage does not mean the absence of fear. It means moving forward despite fear, knowing that growth and transformation reside on the other side of discomfort. Each step you take, no matter how small, builds confidence and reinforces the belief in your ability to create change. Action also requires commitment. It is not enough to act sporadically or reactively. Empowered action is consistent, intentional, and sustained. It is a daily choice to prioritize your goals, to honor your vision, and to invest time, energy, and resources in yourself and your future. Commitment transforms dreams from abstract ideas into achievable realities. Empowered action is rooted in decision-making. Decisions define the trajectory of your life. Choosing to act decisively, rather than remaining indecisive or passive, sets in motion forces that move you forward. Every choice, every intentional action becomes a building block for your next chapter. Indecision, hesitation, or waiting for the perfect moment only prolongs stagnation, while deliberate action signals readiness, alignment, and belief in your own capabilities. A critical aspect of stepping into empowered action is embracing responsibility for your life. Empowerment is not about blaming circumstances, relying on others, or waiting for external validation. It is about taking ownership of your choices, your efforts, and your results. When you recognize that you are the architect of your life, you shift from being a passive observer to an active creator. And this mindset transforms not only your actions, but the outcomes they produce. Empowered action also requires adaptability and resilience. Even with clarity and confidence, obstacles, setbacks, and unexpected challenges will arise. Those who succeed do not avoid difficulty, they navigate it, adjust strategies, learn lessons, and persist. Resilience ensures that each action you take continues to propel you forward, even when progress seems slow or circumstances are unfavorable. Another element of empowered action is alignment with purpose. When your actions reflect your values, passions, and long-term vision, they carry an energy and authenticity that attracts support, opportunities, and favorable circumstances. Misaligned actions, on the other hand, may produce results, but they rarely lead to fulfillment or sustained growth. Taking empowered action also involves stepping out of comfort zones. Growth and transformation rarely occur within familiar boundaries. By intentionally engaging in experiences that challenge you, expand your skills, and stretch your perspective, you cultivate strength, courage, and the ability to navigate uncertainty with confidence. Empowered action is enhanced by preparation and planning. While spontaneity has its place, thoughtful strategies, goal setting, and structured steps ensure that your actions are efficient, effective, and directed toward meaningful outcomes. Each plan becomes a roadmap, guiding your energy and attention in a focused and productive way. Action without reflection or alignment can be wasted effort, but empowered action integrates awareness, intention, and execution seamlessly. Moreover, empowered action inspires momentum. Once you begin, even small steps create a cascade of movement, building energy and confidence that propels you forward. Every accomplishment, every decision, every initiative reinforces the belief that you are capable, deserving, and ready to embrace the life you desire. Stepping into empowered action also impacts those around you. Your energy, determination, and commitment influence others, creating an environment of possibility, motivation, and support. The act of moving with purpose demonstrates leadership, self-respect, and authenticity, attracting relationships and opportunities that align with your growth. Ultimately, stepping into empowered action is the bridge between intention and manifestation. It is the process of taking everything you have learned, healed, clarified, and built within yourself and translating it into tangible progress, transformation, and achievement. It is the demonstration of self-mastery, courage, and belief in your own potential. And it is through these empowered choices and deliberate movements that you step fully into the next chapter of your life, equipped, confident, and unstoppable in your pursuit of growth, purpose, and fulfillment.